that wonderful panel, and I know earlier you also heard from Laisha Ward of the Target Foundation and Shannon Schuyler of the PricewaterhouseCoopers Foundation, who remind us that it takes many to do the work that we are doing today. It takes government, it takes philanthropic organizations, businesses, and individuals to meet the needs of our communities. Like you, I have a good sense of what that commitment to service looks like. Did you know that in the White House, you can get breakfast, lunch, dinner, a snack, every day, including the weekend, just to make sure that you can stay in your office and stay committed to doing the service that's so important. But I think all of you, and I share with all of you the fact that my colleagues and I understand what it means to do this work, and it takes passion, and it takes dedication, it takes hard work and rolling up your sleeves, but it is a passion that gives its return to you over and over and over again. And in fact, I know for all of us here, it is life work that we couldn't imagine doing anything otherwise. But no two people exemplify this better than our extraordinary President and First Lady, who have both been long committed to public service. And they've told us the importance of their service experiences and how that has changed their lives. And we know how those experiences have made them role models for millions of Americans. I think you all know the President started his career as a community organizer on the south side of Chicago, and the First Lady started Public Allies in Chicago, which is an AmeriCorps program. There are very real examples that service is, that it must be more than a one-off event. It should be a lifelong commitment to engaging one's community, whether at a neighborhood, city, state, or federal level. The challenges we face today are greater than ever before. Since day one in office, the President has been focused on investing in areas that will create new jobs and lasting prosperity. But he knows that government alone cannot do this, that America's economic recovery is not just about what we do in Washington, but equally about what each of you do in your communities. He has asked all of us, as individuals and as organizations, to take an active role in the state of our nation and the improvement of our fellow citizens' lives through service. Your work embodies a commitment to getting this country back on the right track. Even before the President took office, he made service a centerpiece of his inauguration. His initiative, Renew America Together, connected potential volunteers with service needs in their communities. And on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the day before the President's inauguration, over 13,000 service projects were completed. That's 13,000 service projects across the nation. In the 14 years that the King holiday has been recognized as a National Day of Service, that was the largest turnout ever. I hope you're clapping for yourselves, because you, in no small part, are responsible for that turnout. The work that you did in your communities made up the composite that turned that into such a wonderful day and such an outpouring of feeling and commitment to service. Your active support for expanded service opportunities also helped secure what we've been talking about today, the Edward M. Kennedy Serve America Act. The new law benefits us all by creating opportunities to serve for students, seniors, and everyone in between, by engaging our country's greatest resource, our citizens, and by providing new opportunities to leverage and scale innovative ideas to solve our nation's most pressing problems. I was really proud and touched, and for those of you, and I know several of you who were there when the President signed that bill into law, you probably shared with me that feeling of tears coming to my eyes when, back in April, the President signed the legislation into law. And it's a bill that lifts up all of our values and the value of service, which has been so integral, as Alan said, to my own career path. Many years ago, when I was fresh out of law school, I went to New York to serve as a junior associate at a law firm in the city. And it was very exciting. But after being there for just a week, I knew I had to pursue a different challenge, a different calling. It was, in fact, my calling, and to invest my life quite differently. I have found corporate finance and bank regulatory law to be intellectually interesting in law school, and I know that's hard to believe, but I really did. And it was stimulating, but I couldn't help but look around and think, and I don't know if all of you remember Ross Perot and his famous running with Admiral Stockdale, and that great line in the debate when he said, you know, who am I and why am I here? And that's kind of the feeling I had after being at the firm for a little while. You know, I learned a great deal in my early days there, and those lessons have served me quite well over the years. But it was engaging with people and engaging in communities through public service that has been the most rewarding career path that I could have imagined for myself. And so I had the honor and the good fortune to work for and learn from Senator Kennedy. And he's a great public servant whose life is an ongoing story of service and whose work continues to transform the nation. So it was only appropriate that his colleague and friend from across the aisle, Senator Hatch, offered the amendment to ensure that the National Service Bill was graced with Senator Kennedy's name. It was the bipartisan leadership of those two men, as well as their colleagues in the House of Representatives, that made this legislation possible and expanded opportunities to serve so dramatically and proved that service is a nonpartisan endeavor. We also know that you did much to raise the profile of the service agenda and secure that broad bipartisan coalition so that the bill could be passed quickly when the president decided the time was right to push it, and he did that within the first 100 days of his administration. So thank you for the work that you did to make that possible and to make sure that service remains a national priority. But as much as we've already accomplished, I think we all know that the hard work lies ahead. First, we need your help again. And this time it's to ensure that the support that was authorized for the corporation in the Serve America Act is in fact appropriated. And I think this is something that you all have been talking about already and will continue to talk about in the days to come. We need to take steps to strengthen the corporation for national and community service and put it on the path to support the enormous growth in its core programs, AmeriCorps, Senior Corps, and Learn and Serve.